Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. Don't miss our post-game show coming up tonight after Game 3 of the Heat versus the Pacers. Should be a great game and lots to talk about, and it's not too late for you East Coast people and international fans as well. Well, let's talk a little bit about Game 3 of the Spurs versus the Grizzlies. I am probably the most surprised that it's 3-0. And the Grizzlies have to be, in turns, encouraged but also very depressed because this is the closest 3-0 series you're ever going to see with 2 overtime games. So the Grizzlies are knocking on the door, but at this point it's over, and it's primarily because the Grizzlies' post-up game has completely deserted them, and we'll show you why. And the way that the Spurs run their pick and roll and hit the roll man is something to behold. Just beautiful team basketball, and the Memphis Grizzlies have no way of stopping it. The Spurs open the game running the fourth option of the triangle offense, where the ball goes to the corner, the center sets a back screen on the wing, and then screens the ball. Fantastic steal by Conley, the first of 8 first-quarter turnovers for the Spurs. The Spurs did not handle the pressure of playing in a hostile arena very well to start, as the Grizzlies turned those 8 turnovers into 8 points, helping them build a huge first-quarter lead. That said, many of these turnovers were out of character, and I'm sure Popovich knew they'd just settle down. In the first 2 games, we saw plenty of double teams as the Spurs were happy to let Tony Allen and Tayshaun Prince shoot from the outside. In Game 3, however, there were virtually no double teams at all on Gasol or Randolph in the post. The key for Memphis winning this series has always been the post-up play of Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph. Looking at the overall post-ups, you can see how effective San Antonio has been at dismantling the Grizzlies' bread and butter. This is no surprise, of course, as the Spurs rank 3rd in defending the post-up this season. Popovich must have looked at the numbers, seen how poorly Memphis had been shooting down low, and decided it was worth the risk to play Z-Bo and Gasol straight up. And he was rewarded as they combined to shoot 38% from the field. The Grizzlies continued to run the same action to get both players positioned, the high screen and roll and dive to the rim. The skip pass enabled Gasol to get early position on Duncan and a simple face-up jumper from 15 feet. Here's a great adjustment to get Z-Bo positioned by having him pitch the ball to Conley, then setting 2 back screens for him. Strangely, I never saw them run this set once the rest of the game. Memphis also runs Gasol straight to the post and just throws it to him. It helps when you have a Hall of Fame center guarding him as he gets respect from the referees. However, Danny Green gets away with hitting Gasol on the arm. Another ball screen for Z-Bo and roll to the rim. Watch how Splitter wants to put both hands straight up, but he lets his left arm come down several degrees, yet there is no call. Also, with Tony Allen out there, it allows Danny Green to help out whenever he wants. One reason Gasol wasn't more effective is that he didn't take advantage of matchups. With Boris Diaw guarding him down low, there is no way he should be shooting a fadeaway jump shot. Since Memphis loves to run a high-low post entry from Marc Gasol to Zach Randolph, you can see that Splitter denies the ball to Gasol. Z-Bo gets the ball anyway and somehow doesn't get the call at home, even though there is contact from Splitter. One reason the Spurs don't have to double Randolph is because they know he will always come back to his left hand. You can see how Splitter just sits on that left hand, waiting for him to spin back over his right shoulder. Since Z-Bo doesn't jump well, Splitter only needs to put his hand up. The Spurs have been putting on a clinic on using the roll man for several seasons to take advantage of defenses that hedge. This game was no exception, as it was their most efficient offensive play they ran in Game 3. The Spurs went to work on Randolph again in the pick and roll, this time using Duncan in some high-low action to get a gorgeous pass and cut for a Splitter layup. While Z-Bo's effort was there on defense, it just served as too much of a gamble and being out of position. A team like the Spurs will make him pay almost every time. The Spurs didn't ignore Marc Gasol on the pick and roll either, as he neither steps out to hedge on Parker, nor does he stay with Duncan on the roll, allowing a beautiful pass by Parker for the layup. With Z-Bo giving too much room to Manu on this hedge, it allowed for a very easy pass back to Diaw. Gasol is late stepping up and they get another basket in the lane. The Spurs love to screen the ball screener's man first, so he's out of position to hedge. Gasol is playing catch-up here on the screen, then rescreen for Parker. With only Green on the weak side, either Pondexter has to step up on Duncan, or Bayless has to get over to him quicker. Either way, neither of these players has the size to stop Duncan that close to the rim. Hitting the roll man wasn't completely unstoppable for the Spurs, as Splitter should have stayed closer to the ball, but Gasol does a nice job to step up and knock the ball away. However, this was a crucial layup that Memphis couldn't finish. In overtime, the Spurs continued to use Memphis' hedging against them as Marc Gasol steps up too high and too far to his right, allowing a simple pass back to Duncan for a wide open jumper. While Manu is more of a three-point threat than Parker, hedging this far out on a screen and roll is just silly by Gasol. When Duncan gets a catch in the lane like this, he will simply abuse you. So there you have it, sports fans. I am as shocked as anybody that this series is 3-0. A play here or there, and it could be 2-1 or even 2-1 in favor of the Grizzlies. So while they might not hang their head completely, they're going to have to take a long look in the mirror and figure out what they want to do with this team. Because I think that Zebo is the weak link here. They need a more athletic power forward who can play better defense and doesn't get so completely caught up by a team who can prepare for him, and since he's not getting off the ground very far, he's not getting good shots down low in the post. And this is now 3 games in a row where he didn't come through. Now there were some plays that he was getting good looks at the basket and still not finishing. So there's a real problem there, and I think that Zebo might be the guy they might try and trade or move if he has any value out there. Well, thanks for joining us. Don't miss our post-game show tonight where we'll talk about the Game 3 between the Heat and the Pacers. Plus, we'll talk more about this series as well and any other questions you might have about the NBA. So don't miss that, and don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?